There's something about pirates, isn't there? Not your Disney-fied ones with parrots and punchlines. I'm talking about the desperate, wind-beaten kind, stranded, betrayed, living by the tide and dying by the cannon. Crosswind is not your average survival crafting game. It doesn't start with punching trees or hugging rocks. It starts with you being marooned after a job goes south. You're a freelance captain, exiled from everything, and the sea, well, the sea does not forget. This is a game that fancies itself part Sea of Thieves, maybe part Valheim, and just a pinch of Dark Souls in the melee side of things. But instead of handing your galleon over and saying go loot, Crosswind asks, can you survive long enough for this to matter? We're going to dive into this promising pirate survival sandbox to see if it's got wind in its sails or it's just another shipwreck bobbing through early access waters, and of course there's going to be a ton of puns here. And we know there's an appetite for this sort of thing. Our top 18 pirate games video just sailed past 75,000 views, so the hunger for high sea adventures is very real. But if you enjoy thoughtful previews, deep dives and an odd bit of sarcasm, do toss us a like and consider subscribing. It genuinely helps us stay afloat in the choppy waters of YouTube. 2 more lovely puns for you there. So what do you actually do in Crosswind? A logical place to start. Well, it starts small. You're alone, you're cold, and your only crewmate is probably a crab somewhere on the beach. You forage for driftwood, you hunt wild game, and you cobble together a rough outpost. Think bedroll, campfire, basic shelter, all that stuff. From there, things start to open up. Crafting sits at the heart of your progression. You'll be making everything from sabers and pistols to stews, potions and repair kits. And it's not just for flavour either. Gear stats, buffs genuinely are going to matter. A good stew might just tip the odds in your favour when going toe to toe with something nastier than just the local wildlife. And that brings us then to combat. It's surprisingly Soulslike, I would say. There's a stamina bar, time dodges, and a proper weight to your swings. If you just mash attacks, you're going to get flatlined. So whether you're dueling pirates or facing off against boss tier monsters in jungle ruins, Crosswind is going to reward your patience and prep, not brute force. And once you got your sea legs, and more importantly, a ship, the game is going to shift. You're no longer just surviving, you're commanding. Ships will come in 3 different flavours: cutters, frigates and galleons. Each with distinct handling, crew size and cannon loadouts. I gotta say, boarding enemy ships looks like an absolute blast. You even have the option to sail off mid-fight if things are going sideways. Absolutely love it. The world itself is going to be made up of handcrafted semi-procedural islands. So 3 distinct biomes in the current alpha: tropical, volcanic and coastal. Each has its own resources, enemies and hidden boss encounters. And this leads us on to exploration. Exploration is going to be slow, deliberate and brilliant if it clicks. You're not just fast travelling between icons, you're navigating a chain of forgotten islands, each with their own mood, loot tables and lurking horrors. There's no big central landmass here. It's an archipelago, so every journey is a calculated risk. You might sail into a dense jungle island looking for only iron ore to find yourself chased back to the ship by something that really doesn't want you there. Weather and time of day will matter more than you expect. Storms can stall your progress or damage your ship. Nightfall will bring tougher enemies and sometimes a much stranger ones. And you can't just treat exploration as a scenic distraction, it's survival with a compass. The game is not fully procedural like in a No Man's Sky sense, not yet. And it is handcrafted with some care. Biomes will feel distinct. Volcanic islands will have sulfur pools, steam vents and tougher mobs. Jungle areas will teem with predators and buried lore. Coastal zones can lean more on shipwrecks and enemy outposts. And there'll also be a social hub, Tortuga of course, which will act as your port in a storm. Trade, chat, gear up and head back out. You can even recruit crew, but this is a work in progress for now. Right now, Crosswind is fully playable solo, and that's how most of the current alpha is being balanced. No forced PvP, no griefing nonsense, just you, your ship and a very moody ocean. But multiplayer is coming, co-op PvE, factions, maybe even player-run ports. It's all on the roadmap for the future. Now, Crosswind is very much still in its early stages. This is an alpha, guys, not a polished launch build. But credit where it's due, the devs aren't hiding behind vague promises or radio silence. The game is being built by an indie team called Caldera Interactive. It's a passion project, one that is clearly punching above its weight in terms of ambition, and they're refreshingly open about that. No marketing fluff, just honest updates, Reddit posts, Discord Q&As that dig into everything from ship physics to biome generation. They've already held multiple closed alpha tests, and there's more planned in waves. Feedback seems to be taken seriously. Systems like PvP toggles, ship control tweaks, resource rebalancing have all been added or adjusted based upon community input. As for the roadmap, what we know is that more ships are in the works, with customization and crew management coming up next. Biomes will be expanded beyond the current 3, with procedural generation set to replace the handcrafted islands further down the line. Social features like Tortuga's hub system will be a proper trade centre, and even with player-run economies later on. And then fully co-op and PvP group play are also on the cards. Solo is viable now, but the end goal is a shared world. It's a sort of roadmap that feels humble but confident. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel, just build a sturdy wind-powered one with the odd curse relic on board. So where does Crosswind fit in the survival sandbox family tree? Well, if you picture Valheim, Sea of Thieves, Salt 2 and Ark all sitting around slightly wobbly at a tavern table, Crosswind is the quiet one sat in the corner, scribbling down ideas and muttering something about cursed shipwrecks and parry timings. It is not as polished or player ready as Sea of Thieves, but it's leaning harder into survival mechanics and actual danger. As for something like Salt 2, this is quite a close tonal match, lone wolf sailing, handcrafted islands and quite chill vibes sometimes, but Crosswind is going to throw in a more serious combat loop and roadmap that aims a lot higher. Bigger ships, actual factions and co-op PvP and PvE. So there we have it guys, Crosswind. It's early, it's rough around the edges and some systems are still finding their sea legs, but there is something here, something quite honest, and it's a rare mix of survival tension, Souls-like combat and a pirate era ambition that doesn't feel slapped together in a content blender. It's not going to dazzle you with fireworks, it's here to ask, what if survival meant more than chopping trees and eating berries? What if the sea's not just pretty scenery, but a character in your story? And if they can tighten the pacing, flesh out the world a bit and stick the landing on co-op and faction systems, Crosswind could sail into that lovely little niche where Valheim, Salt, Mount and Blade all kind of overlap, tactically immersive and just unpredictable enough to keep you looking over your shoulder the entire time. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on development here, and if you've enjoyed this preview, feel free to give the video a like, it really helps on the algorithm, and even a cheeky subscribe if you feel I've earned it here today. Right guys, until next time, I've been Tom and this is LT Gaming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.